What's going on, everybody? In this video, I felt the need to kind of do a recap on what's been happening over the last 3 years of my life. If you guys have been following my channel previously, you know that 3 years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I believe, I made my very first YouTube video on why I quit my full-time job to start a social media marketing agency. But I felt the need to kind of give a recap and storyline of a more clear picture of how it started and where I'm at to the current date. So if you can rewind the clock back, I want to play a video for you guys for when I just was on the cusp of leaving my full-time job as a county sheriff in my hometown to pursue my agency. And I think this will kind of help give you guys like a memory refresh and just to kind of see the timestamp on when things kind of all started. So without further ado, let's roll the tape to that. Well, I want to make this video real fast, kind of as a commitment video. I'm 6 months in my MMA business, and it's been a lot of ups and downs. Nothing's been easy, nothing's been given. I think a lot of people expect handouts, and that's not something I'm looking for. So I want to make this video as a kind of a commitment to show that this is where I'm starting from. This little house, and it's only up from here. Mark this date. So in that video, I had a ton of emotions going through my head. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I wasn't where I wanted to be in life, and I knew that I wanted to be super rich. Now, obviously, you guys know I haven't hit all the goals that I set for myself yet. No, I'm not extremely wealthy at this current moment. But at that time, I just knew the direction I was going and heading towards at that current time wasn't going to lead to satisfaction for me. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to retire my family and doing that job. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to be the ultimate provider that I want to be. I kind of felt like just another person. I just wanted to kind of do something unique and different, and I wasn't going to get that satisfaction doing the job that I was doing at the time. So to give you guys a full recap, it was September of 2020. I actually got hired as a county sheriff in my hometown. And I believe I was 21 years old at the time when I started. And I had no idea where that was going to take me. All I knew is I was going to a community college, Blackhawk Community College. I was going there for 2 years. And I knew that I needed to do something with my life. And I think I felt that becoming a sheriff in my hometown would kind of relieve the stress of me looking like a nobody to a bunch of people. And I could start making some money and actually make a career out of myself. So I think that's kind of why I started it. There was a multiple reasons too. I knew that honestly growing up, I had a way of like impacting the community and helping others. And I thought, why not become a sheriff? You know, I know at the time that was like one of the most hated professions. And I was, I would say, a well-liked guy. And I wanted to make a change and make an impact on the community and do the right thing. You know, I wanted to fix the system from within. And instead of just talking about the problem, I wanted to actually take action to fix the problem. So I think that's why I wanted to become a sheriff. But as you guys know, over the few years that I've done that job, no hate against it. I just realized that it wasn't for me. And I would rather acknowledge that something isn't for me than be in a profession like that and pretend like it's something for me, if that makes sense. I feel like that profession needs people who are solely in it, and not because of money or for other things, but solely because they love what they do. And that just wasn't for me at that time. And I don't have any regrets leaving that job. But again, that's for me. A lot of my friends are still there and they still do that job and they love it. But I'm not speaking for them. I'm just speaking for myself. What I did was towards like the end of I believe it was 2023, I stumbled across a marketing course by this guy by the name of Douglas James. And he was like running this course for a social media marketing agency, ton of people making money in it. And I was like, you know what? Let me give this thing a try. I had no idea what I was doing or where it was going to take me. And my friend at the time, we were also like trying out drop shipping, and it wasn't really working at the moment. So between trying drop shipping and stumbling across the SMA journey with Douglas James and his course, I kind of was like, I can probably be better at this. Let me give it a shot. It seems very straightforward, right? I run ads for business owners and they pay me a percentage, right? So I started to dive into that. I kind of got obsessed with it. Like I would stay up like until like 2, 3 in the morning just trying to learn SMMA. I literally wasn't making any money in it. And one of the stupidest things that I think I could have done this entire time was quitting my full-time job to learn SMMA when I made $0 in it at the time in 2023. Like, that was not smart. I had 0 paying clients, but I left a full-time paying job. Looking back on it, probably wasn't the smartest thing I could have done at the time. So I'm not telling you guys, if you're starting a business, that means immediately leave your full-time job that's already paying the bills. I don't think that's the smartest approach. And if I can go back in time 3 years ago, I probably wouldn't have left so soon. I probably would have waited until I actually had a paying client before I just jumped out there. Now, so let's kind of fast forward a little bit to how I ended up in Tampa, Florida. So once I quit the job, my friend at the time decided to, let's just move to Tampa. We had a few connections down here. And we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know where it was going to take us, but we just took the leap and we just came to Tampa, Florida, and we got a place in Channel Side, and it was super dope. To have 0 regrets. But at that time, there was a lot of figuring things out. Like, I didn't know how I was going to make money. I wasn't really making that much money from SMMA at the time, and I'm almost positive when I moved here, after all expenses were paid and we paid like that first month's rent, I think I had less than like $300 in my bank account. So I moved to a new city, 16 plus hours away from home. I don't have a room. I'm literally sleeping on a couch that was a pull-out bed. And it's funny enough, the pull-out bed is actually less comfier than the couch. So throughout the time living there, I actually just slept on the couch because it was a lot better than the pull-out bed. But like, I just jumped out there into the fire, and I had 0 plans on how I was going to make money. I wasn't making any money from SMMA. We were kind of dabbling in some stuff with real estate, but that wasn't really working out the best at the time either. So there just was a ton of things that just don't make sense, and I just didn't really know what to do. So what we ended up doing in order to make money to come up with the next month's rent, because I just mentioned none of the businesses at the time that we were trying to do were making any money. We would have to get up at 4 a.m. and Uber literally until like 3 p.m. just to make ends meet. So we're talking almost 12-hour days of just Ubering just to come up with money and get some income in while we're still trying to like figure out how to make money in a business, right? So I'm literally just doing so many other things to figure out how am I going to make rent. I have no real source of active income coming in. I believe like after a couple months of just Ubering and still trying to make money with the marketing company, we were like out for some reason at this club in Tampa, and I ran into a few people who were selling insurance at the time, and it showed me how much money they were making. And I remember this day, like clearly, I remember looking in the bar when he'd show me how much money he made. Like, I'm pretty sure it was like well over like 1.5 million in savings that he just had like liquid cash ready. And he told me that like, hey, I started a insurance company. Like, this is how much money you can make. I have people inside my company making 40, 50 plus K a month. And that's why I was like, damn, like I need to do what he's doing. So at that time, I ended up getting licensed, and a few months later, I started selling insurance. So now I have my insurance license, and then I also have my social media marketing agency. I'm also doing a little bit of stuff with real estate on the side, and I'm also still Ubering in the morning because I'm not making money from any of these things just yet. So as you can see, I'm like juggling so many different things, and I'm just trying to figure it out. And it's funny, like as I'm explaining this, I'm thinking back, like I really just jumped out into the fire, and things over time obviously worked itself out. But it's just amazing what you can do when you're back against the wall. Like when your back's against the wall, you will find a way to make money. You will find a way to take care of business and take care of things that needs to get done. So I'm glad I never doubted myself in any of this. But long story to be short, I ended up doing just once I started making cash in insurance and I started making cash in the agency, what I did was I just stopped doing Uber. My girlfriend ended up moving down once the lease was up at their current apartment. So we got our own place right on Water Street in Tampa. It was super dope, one of my best apartments ever. Super expensive. It was like we were paying pretty much all in on cost for the expenses, like $4K a month total, like $4K plus easily when all expenses factored in. Base rent was like $3,700. So dope apartment, have zero regrets living there either. But obviously when you're new and you're making money in two different things from insurance and marketing, like you have to reinvest. You're doing two businesses at the same time, which if you saw any of my previous videos, I told you guys that's not smart. Don't do that. But I still don't regret knowing what it's like to stay downtown. I still don't regret, taking the leap of faith and just diving in. But again, looking back on it, there is a lot smarter ways to do things and go about it. So learn from my mistakes, please. With the marketing agency, I scaled that to just shy of like 10 grand a month. I was making a lot of money in it. And then I also was still making money in residuals and from new insurance sales. And you guys know with insurance, you get advances, you get residuals. So there are two great vehicles that I could have used at the time to pretty much take as a full-time career. I just always had trouble getting clarity on which vehicle to take. And to kind of give you guys the full picture on the clock timeline, so I lived on Channel Side from 2023 to 2024 in Tampa before I got my own place. And then so 2025-ish to 2024 to 2025 is when I had the more like Water Street location apartment, which is super sick in Tampa. And then I also had, after that, that's when we got the place now, to where I realized like, hey, I'm making a ton of money, right? I need to reinvest. All of these businesses that I'm doing require reinvestments. So that's when I made the decision in 2025 that I needed to downsize my luxury apartment on Water Street at the Heron, and we need to get a place that makes a lot more sense. And it was just a 1 bed, 1 bath. You know, it was like, for the square footage, it wasn't really the best bang for the dollar. Now I'm in a place where I'm saving pretty much $1,000 on rent. Well, not really. I mean, it's still $3,000 plus where I live at now, but all in costs, I'm saving about $1,000. And I have a 2 bed, 2 bath with plenty of square footage and plenty of room to take care of the things I need to get done when working remote, etc. You guys know I recently made the decision to shut down the agency, and the reason being is because I've had more positive reinforcements through insurance. I've made just the same amount of money in insurance as I made with the SMA agency, and I figured, well, I've learned with insurance that I just do it in my sleep. It's super easy. I don't really have to think about the sales process for it. I just get the residuals for it. Like, it just comes to me natural. So I realized that if I can get to the dream outcome with both vehicles, why not just do the one that comes to me more natural? Why try to swim against the grain? And that's the realization that kind of took place once I moved here and kind of had more clarity on things, and I guess matured as a business and entrepreneur myself. I don't think it was necessarily the smartest thing to immediately leave my job at the time 3 years ago and start a business that wasn't paying me any money. But again, it is also nice to see that even though I didn't do things the smartest way, things still worked out. I just know things probably could have worked out a lot faster had I took a different approach and approached what I wanted to do a little bit different. But that's part of the game. That's part of the process. It's trial and error. And it's what I guess what I want to say my favorite part about entrepreneurship is I'm no longer playing to like be the best. I'm just playing to be the last man standing. I don't care about trying to, prove a point, or I don't care about trying to be the number one person in my field. And I know that may sound weird and may not make sense, but like when you get wrapped up in trying to be the best and just spend more focus on trying to be consistent, you will inadvertently become the best. Like, I'm not focused on trying to be the better person than, whoever the top person is in life health insurance is. I'm not focused on what he's doing. Well, obviously I will learn the good things that person's doing, but I'm just trying to better myself. I'm just focused on how can I be better than the person I was yesterday? How can I just get 1% better each day? How can I keep constantly improving and just keep constantly giving myself positive reinforcements that I am the person that I say I am? And doing that and just letting time actually have time, I know I will get the dream result that I'm looking for. So with all this to be said, let time just time. If you just keep focused on being consistent, keep focusing on trying to be better than the person you were yesterday, you will hit the results that you want. Just let time. Focus on one thing for long enough, do it long enough to get the outcome that you want, and you will see the results. And as you guys always know, I mentioned I'm still talking to myself as I make this video. So hopefully the things that I've covered and went over kind of gives you a full picture from start to finish. And I know I'm still new to this YouTube stuff, so I probably left out some key details, and I'm going to look back on this video and be pissed that I didn't mention. But I want to keep giving reinforcements on my story. Like, yes, I started with one vehicle and ended up doing another, but this is just part of the game that a lot of people don't talk about. Like, I don't care that I'm filming this video and like my life's kind of been all over the place. Like, I want people to see my life be up and down, see the trials, see the errors, because this is what it's actually like. And this is the thing that I think social media doesn't do a good enough job of showing. Yes, I was once X, now I'm Y, and as long as I keep showing up, as long as I keep putting in the effort to be better than I was yesterday and always remain a student of the game, I will get the life that I'm praying for. I am going to get the life that when I'm older and then look back on it, I'm going to be thankful as a man that I took that risk and took that leap. Without further ado, I hope this gives you guys, again, more clarity on my story, and I plan to keep giving reminders every now and then on where I started, where I am, and hopefully when the time comes, I'll be able to document where I'm at when I hit my goals. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys found this useful, And as always, I'll see you in the next YouTube video.